Welcome to the Efficient eLearning SAP training series. In this video, we'll be creating a purchase requisition in SAP using transaction ME51N. And here's our list of topics. We'll start by confirming where transaction code ME51N fits in the Procure-to-Pay process. We'll then move on to the practical component of the video, creating a purchase requisition in SAP using transaction ME51N. Once the purchase requisition is created, we can then display it using transaction ME53N. And finally, we'll take a brief look at the purchase requisition list display, transaction ME5A. Let's begin with where transaction ME51N fits in the Procure-to-Pay process. Transaction ME51N is used to create a purchase requisition. It's the first step in the Procure-to-Pay process, assuming the required vendor has been created. Purchase requisitions can usually be created by any staff member. However, in some organizations, procurement is centralized, and the purchase requisitions are created by the Procurement department. Okay, so we've established where transaction ME51N fits in the Procure-to-Pay process. Now let's create a purchase requisition in SAP using transaction ME51N. If you're new to SAP, it's worth noting where transaction ME51N resides in the SAP standard menu. Start with the Logistics folder, then Materials Management, Purchasing, and Purchase Requisition. Now you can simply double-click on this entry to open the transaction. If it's the first time you have used the transaction, you'll see this help pane on the left. For the purpose of this demonstration, and to maximize the viewable columns for the purchase requisition, I'll close this pane by clicking the Close button. If at any stage you wish to review this help section, you can open the help pane by clicking this icon. The first field we need to populate is the document type field. The document type allows a distinction to be made between different kinds of purchase requisition. In this example, we'll be creating a standard purchase requisition. Click the drop-down list for the document type field and choose Standard Purchase Requisition. In my screen, the header section is already expanded. However, if you're using the transaction for the first time, you might find the header sections collapsed. So I'll temporarily collapse the header section just to show how you can expand it. To expand the header section of the purchase requisition, click on this icon. Here you can enter a header note to provide an explanation for the purchase. Click in the text field and enter the text, New mobile phones for the administration team. Now click on this icon to expand the item overview section. Before we enter the item details, it's important to note that you may see a different layout for the columns in the item overview. You may need to scroll to the right to find the relevant fields. Some fields might not be visible in the item overview, but we'll identify where the fields reside in the item details section once the item overview fields are populated. If I was creating a purchase requisition for a stocked item, I could simply search for the relevant material master record number in this field. However, as mobile phones are not currently stocked in this organization, I'll need to choose an account assignment category. If you hover above the column heading, you can see the full column name. The account assignment category determines the type of cost object against which the cost for the purchase will be posted. Click in the account assignment category field and click the drop-down list to the right. One of the most commonly used account assignment categories is cost center. In most organizations, cost centers are assigned to organization units. For example, it's common for a particular team or department to have their own cost center. In this example, we'll be assigning the purchase requisition item to the cost center for the administration team, so we'll choose account assignment category K for cost center. Double-click on the entry to select it. The next field we need to populate is the item category field. Click in the field and click the drop-down list to the right. In this case, we're purchasing an item that's not stocked, so the choice is between standard item category for the purchase of goods and service item category for the purchase of services. In this example, we're purchasing mobile phone handsets, so I'll choose the standard item category. Double-click on the entry to select it. As the mobile phone handsets are not stocked items, we can leave the material field blank. Click in the short text field and enter the description of the item, Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra handset. In this example, we've been asked to order 5 handsets, so click in the quantity field and enter this value. A unit of measure is required for the item, so click in this field and click the drop-down list to the right. Scroll down and double-click on the unit of measure for each. If you'd like to scroll down a page at a time, simply click in the gap underneath the vertical scroll bar. The valuation price is the net price for the item excluding tax. Click in this field and enter the net price for each handset. Click in the currency field and click the drop-down list. Scroll down and double-click on the relevant currency for the purchase, in this case, Australian dollars. The material group allows us to categorize the purchase for reporting purposes. Click in the field and click the drop-down list to the right. You can search for the material group, but this list is not very large, so let's click on the material group description heading to sort the list alphabetically by description. Now click in the gap underneath the vertical scroll bar to go down the list a page at a time until we reach the mobile phones material group. Double-click on the entry to select it. The plant is usually the location where the goods are to be sent, for example, an office or a warehouse. Click in the field and click the drop-down list to the right. Again, click in the gap underneath the vertical scroll bar to go down the list a page at a time until we reach the Sydney office. And once again, double-click on the entry to select it. Before we can choose a storage location, we need to press the Enter key on the keyboard to validate the entries, so the program knows which plant to use for the storage location lookup. Press the Enter key on the keyboard or click the green tick icon up the top left of the screen. You'll notice the program is asking for a cost center code. This field is mandatory and needs to be populated. However, let's finalize the details of the item overview first. The storage location is the relevant room or section of the building where the goods will be sent and received. Click in the field and click the drop-down list to the right. In this example, the goods are to be sent to the general store. Double-click on this storage location. The purchasing organisation is the collective group responsible for purchases of goods and services. In this fictitious example, the purchasing organisations are company-specific. That is, one purchasing organisation procures for one company code. Click in the field and click the drop-down list to the right. Scroll down to the relevant entry and double-click to select it. The purchasing group represents an individual buyer or group of buyers who are responsible for certain purchasing activities. In this example, there's only one purchasing group for each company code. Click in the field, click the drop-down list, and scroll down to the relevant entry. Double-click on the entry to select it. The final field we need to select is the Fixed Vendor field. Click in the gap to the right of the horizontal scroll bar to scroll across the list a page at a time. Click in the Fixed Vendor field and click the drop-down list to the right. Click in the Name field, type XYZ*, and then click the Start Search button. Then double-click on XYZ Mobile. I'll now click in the gap to the left of the horizontal scroll bar to scroll back to the left side of the screen. We can now populate the relevant fields on the Account Assignment tab at Item Details level. You'll notice a General Ledger account has defaulted. However, I'm not sure if this is the correct account. Click in the GL account field. If you know the GL account code, you can simply enter it manually here. However, in this example, we'll assume we have to search for the code. Click the drop-down list to the right of the field. In the GL long text field, type mobile*, and then click the Start Search button. Double-click on the GL account for mobile phone handset. Now click in the Cost Center field and click the drop-down list. If required, enter the relevant company code, then click in the Cost Center short text field. Type admin*, and then click the Start Search button. Double-click on the Administration Cost Center. Now click the green tick icon at the top left of the screen to validate the entered values. As I'm creating the requisition on a Sunday, and the delivery date is defaulting to the current date, you'll note the warning message at the bottom of the screen regarding the next workday. To bypass the warning message, again click the green tick at the top left of the screen. As I mentioned earlier, you might not have visibility of all the relevant fields at Item Overview level. due to the layout displayed. However, the relevant fields can be found on the tabs at item details level. On the Material Data tab, you can see the material group, the order quantity is on the Quantities Dates tab, the valuation price and the total value are on the Valuation tab, the fixed vendor and the purchasing organization are on the Source of Supply tab, and the purchasing group is on the Contact Person tab. We've now entered all of the required information for the purchase requisition. We can now check the details to confirm there are no problems with the entered data. Before we click the check button, I'll just expand the header section. If the purchase requisition requires release, also referred to as approval, a new tab will appear with the details of the releases required once we click the check button. Click the check button now and note the header section. Note the message at the bottom of the screen indicating that there are no error messages. Also, note the Release Strategy tab at header level. This release group and strategy indicates the purchases for a standard purchase requisition less than or equal to $25,000. The current release indicator is blocked. This means the purchase requisition cannot be converted to a purchase order. And this section of the tab displays the releases or approvals that need to take place before the purchase requisition is released. We can now click the Save button to save the purchase requisition. Note the message at the bottom of the screen with the purchase requisition number. Note down this number for use in the next part of the video. It is possible to display the purchase requisition in this screen, but let's exit the transaction and take a look at transaction ME53N, Display Purchase Requisition. Click the green back arrow to exit the transaction. Double-click on this entry to open the transaction. If you've executed transaction ME53N immediately after creating the purchase requisition, as is the case here, you might find the correct purchase requisition is currently displayed. If not, you can click on the Other Purchase Requisition button. Click in the Purchase Requisition field, type in the number from the previous step, and then click the Other Document button. Let's now click on the relevant tabs and confirm the details we've entered have been saved correctly. At header level, the release strategy details match what we saw during creation of the requisition, as does the text. The item overview fields are also correct. And as we click through the tabs at item details level, the details are as expected. Note these fields on the Status tab. The requisition processing state will be updated to release completed once we've released the purchase requisition. The processing status will be updated to PO created once we've converted the purchase requisition to a purchase order. Additionally, once the purchase order is created, it will be listed here together with any follow-on documents such as goods receipts and invoices. Click the green back arrow to return to the SAP main menu. Expand the List Displays folder and double-click on transaction ME5A. Click in the Purchase Requisition field and type in the purchase requisition number we created earlier. Clear out any other fields that have automatically populated so that we're left with Scope of List ALV, to utilize the more efficient ALV grid reporting style, Sort Indicator 1, sorting by purchase requisition number and item, and the following checkboxes. Now click the Execute button to run the report. My default layout displays the fields for which we entered values when we created the purchase requisition. I'll click in the gap to the right of the horizontal scroll bar to scroll across the report one page at a time. You'll notice the Release Indicator field is currently set to B for blocked. The requisition processing state is set to 03 in release, and the processing status is set to N, not edited, meaning the purchase requisition has not yet been converted to a purchase order. Also note the purchase order item, and purchase order date fields are currently blank, again because the purchase requisition has not yet been converted to a purchase order. In the next two videos in the series, Release Purchase Requisition and Convert Purchase Requisition to Purchase Order, we'll revisit transaction ME53N, Display Purchase Requisition, and transaction ME5A, Purchase Requisition List Display. This will allow us to see the impact of releasing a purchase requisition and converting a purchase requisition to a purchase order on the status of the purchase requisition. That's all we have for this video. Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to be notified when new videos are uploaded. Thanks for watching.